Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. We're starting off with something extremely significant, in my opinion. And of course, it was posted by the extremely courageous and bold Philip Edward Alexander, the man who I believe should have been the Minister of Homeland Security. Philip Edward Alexander posted sometime yesterday, 1% drug businesses over. The United States has ordered the deployment of U.S. air and naval forces to the southern Caribbean Sea to address threats from Latin American drug cartels. Two sources briefed on the decision told Reuters on Thursday. I told the nation, ignore Stuart Young, Gary Griffith, and Kit Rowley. Venezuela cannot touch TNT. Tell Maduro, play mad. Trump wants a reason to put boots on ground. And I will fully support if America ends up putting back a military base here in Trinidad and Tobago, because it seems as though our local enforcement cannot get the job done. Once again, it's not all the time I agree with Philip Edward Alexander. I think he supports the SOE. I don't. But this is one man that I support in a lot of his ideas, his policy, his passion for his country, his love for the people here in Trinidad and Tobago. The Ministry of Health is investigating the disappearance of 300 vials of fentanyl, a very dangerous drug, people, following a delivery discrepancy at a public health facility. It's not a discrepancy. Some healthcare worker decided that they want to eat our food, want to make extra money at the cost of people's lives. Like they don't hear about all the amount of deaths in America due to fentanyl overdoses. My goodness. The missing medication consists of fentanyl injection, 0.05 milligram ml, 2 ml ampoules that were reported unaccounted for after a routine delivery. My goodness, but there's criminals everywhere in the public system. The ministry was alerted to the discrepancy on August 6th and immediately launched an investigation. Health officials are treating the matter with utmost seriousness because it is. People are going to end up dying from overdoses because they're going to put it into the drugs as well. So you're smoking weed and you're smoking it with fentanyl. You're taking your cocaine or whatever and it has fentanyl in it too. Given fentanyl's dangerous nature as a potent synthetic opioid that can cause severe respiratory distress and death, even in small quantities, if misused or improperly handled, it's only for use by the medical staff, by the medical fraternity, to give doses for the patients, of course. But it has to be administered by professionals, by the doctors. And I don't even know if nurses are allowed. I don't know, maybe. But medical staff. The ministry emphasized that fentanyl is a controlled narcotic used only under strict medical supervision in hospital settings. They don't even prescribe it for people, for citizens to use on their own. It has to be done in the hospitals. Possession, use, or distribution without proper authorization is both illegal and dangerous. I hope that person is apprehended. And because this is something that could cost people their lives, you should definitely face time in prison. Prime Minister Honorable Kamala Persad-Bissessar met with representatives from the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, to discuss innovative ways of bringing new benefits and opportunities to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. The Prime Minister was joined by Minister of Public Utilities Honorable Barry Paradat, Minister of Finance Honorable Devanjanath Tanku, and the Minister of Planning and Development Honorable Kennedy Sarawat Singh, and Minister of Legal Affairs Honorable Saddam Hussain. Anything that could be able to assist us in getting out of this economic crisis, bring it on, people. Bring it on. A man whose girlfriend was robbed in broad daylight ran down and apprehended the bandit in Port of Spain. He's a hero. I mean, he risked his life, but I mean, nevertheless, he is a hero. He held down the man until police arrived and detained the thief. Identified only as Josiah from Central, the man told police he was walking with his girlfriend along the Brian Lara promenade just after 2 p.m. when someone snatched her handbag and fled. Josiah gave chase, cornering the suspect in front of Nicholas Towers on the sidewalk and subduing him while bystanders called the police. Well done, sir. Well done. Now for some regional news. In Jamaica, the People's National Party, PNP, is accusing the Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, of delaying efforts to finalize arrangements for the upcoming national debates set to begin next week. I find that duration of time for an election is extremely short. I don't know why Andrew Holness decided to do that. I don't know if it's a plot. As I said, there are certain things that you hear about him that he's doing good in Jamaica, and then when they take these type of actions, it begs the question, why? Why such a short period of time? And therefore, you're not going to really have much time for like debates and stuff like that. We really need that in Trinidad, though, having debates between the two political opponents. Yeah, that's something that needs to be implemented in the future. In a media release Thursday afternoon, the PNP said, despite repeated confirmations, the JLP has missed 2 critical planning meetings with the Jamaica Debates Commission, including on one scheduled for 2 p.m. Thursday at the JLP's request. That's never a good sign, people. The body of a man was found in a mango tree in St. Elizabeth on Wednesday. This is still Jamaica news, sir. He has been identified as 54-year-old farmer Delroy Brown of Burton District in the parish. The Lacovia police reported that around 12:40 p.m., Brown was sitting in a mango tree. Upon closer inspection, it was discovered that he was dead. I wonder if foul play is involved. He probably just died from a heart attack or something. Maybe he took the toxic injection. Who knows? Still, of course, it's a sad thing to hear. A woman suspected by the police of being the mastermind behind the deadly gun attack on a policeman and his family in St. James on Saturday has been taken into custody. It's be real strange when you hear women committing these types of crimes too. It's a rare thing. It's sad, but it's a rare thing. She was arrested at a guest house in Hanover on Wednesday. She is expected to face questioning from investigators. Now for some news from Guyana, amidst concerns about we invest in nationhood wins political party leadership ties to the Nicolas Maduro regime in Venezuela. That's always a bad sign, just like here in Trinidad y Tobago. The party posted a Spanish language election message to its official Facebook page. The video, which was removed within 20 minutes of being posted, contained the party's tags and had a woman who was communicating in Spanish. This video raises further questions about the party's alleged connections to Venezuela and also adds to the grave concerns for Guyana's sovereignty, democracy, and vital international partnerships, especially given the Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, sanctioned Mohammed's frequent visits to the Venezuelan embassy. And remember, Maduro wants to annex the entire Essequibo area of Guyana. So what if this man will sell the soul of his nation? What if this man will make an agreement with Maduro and the Venezuelan government to hand over that territory to Venezuela? Is that something you Guyanese, you tribal Guyanese, are willing, that's a risk you're willing to take because you don't like Irfan Ali? Because you have some issue with race? Boy, if it is you all do that, whatever happens next, it's all because of the citizens and their hearts that are in the wrong place. Hearts full of prejudice. Hearts full of hatred. You choose to believe lies instead of truth. That, people, you see that government performing exceptionally well for 5 years, and you just opposing for opposing's sake because you have some sort of issue with Irfan Ali, probably because he's an East Indian. That's despicable evil, people. That is evil. It's disgusting. Now for some international news, experts are sounding the alarm over a fast-spreading virus called cottontail papillomavirus, which causes wild rabbits to grow tentacle-like growths from their heads. Looks like little horns. And it could infect your pet bunny at home. Wow, boy. I hope they get that under control quickly as possible. But you know, in this world, these viruses, and you know, they might want to end up starting to claim that it could end up infecting humans as well. Boy, just to take control and put fear in the hearts and the minds of citizens all over again. To control them, just as they have been doing since 2020. But still, nevertheless, for the sake of the animals, I hope they get control of this spreading virus. A 40-year-old New York resident is now facing cyberstalking charges after being accused of sending threatening messages to the wife of slain United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, just hours after her husband was killed. Shane Daly, 40 years, was arrested on Wednesday on charges of cyberstalking for allegedly sending threatening voicemail messages to the work phone of Thompson's wife, Paulette Thompson, according to an unsealed criminal complaint. Daly also emphasized his satisfaction with Thompson's murder. He was glorifying it. He was celebrating the crime that took place, while stating that his children deserve to meet the same violent end. So he was actually saying and wishing and praying that the deceased man's children, entire family basically, be sent into eternity. Thompson was fatally shot outside of a Midtown Manhattan hotel on December 4th, 2024, while walking to an investor conference. 27-year-old Luigi Mangione has since been charged with the murder in what appears to be a politically motivated assassination. My response, that isn't just cyber stalking. That psychopath made death threats against an entire family. He should face a long time in prison. I don't care what side he's on and on. Most likely he's from the radical left Democrat side. But even if he isn't, and he's from the Republican side, I'm not just going to defend him because he's a Republican or a conservative. That what you said was despicable, it's evil, and you people, the authorities cannot just be taking those kind of threats lightly. They cannot continue doing that. I want to say when the system, I said he should face a long time in prison. When the system ignores these types of red flags, this is definitely a red flag, people. Or signs, as you would see on Investigation Discovery. On Evil Lives, he had so many of those different crime shows. And those are crime shows based on real life situations that took place, tragedies that took place. And there were always many red flags. And the authorities and even the people, the families, ignored it. So I said, when the system ignores these types of red flags or signs, we end up with another news report about a mass shooting. Then the radical left, of course, the Democrats, uses it as an opportunity to call for more gun control, which only infringes on the rights of the law-abiding citizen to defend themselves, their family, and property. They were ready to go nuclear. Trump claims credit again for India-Pakistan ceasefire. Of course, it's India reporting this, so they believe that Trump, is taking claim that credit that he shouldn't. But most likely it is. Most likely it is, because it seems as though India and the Indian government right now, the regime, they despise the jihadists in Pakistan, but love Russians. They love the radical jihadists in Iran. They love the radical jihadists in Hamas, in Gaza, and in the Palestinian Authority. But, as I said before, they have an issue with Pakistan. Why? Because, why? Hear the hypocrisy, people. Hear the hypocrisy now. Pakistan poses a threat to India's sovereignty and the lives of their citizens. But you see, Iran does not pose an immediate threat. And Gaza doesn't pose an immediate threat to them either. So that's why they can love them and call genocide, because Israel is defending their sovereignty, Israel's sovereignty, and the safety and the lives of their Jewish citizens and all the citizens of Israel. Because it wasn't only Jews that were murdered on October 7th, people. There were Arabs that were murdered as well, Arab families that were murdered as well. But the world won't tell you that, and they don't care. They just simply don't care. Despite India repeatedly rejecting any third-party mediation in the ceasefire, stating that no foreign leader asked it to halt military operations, Trump has claimed since May 10th that he helped secure a full and immediate ceasefire. All right, India. Trump can't take any credit, okay? You all just successfully forced Pakistan into submission. You happy? All right, buddy. You happy, sir? All right. Former Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba spoke with CNN's Christian Amanpour about Russian President Vladimir Putin's proposed land swap with Ukraine ahead of the summit in Alaska between President Donald Trump and the Russian leader. Land swap sounds as though he wants to make an exchange. So I don't know, probably certain territories that don't really have that much of a Russian population, what they will really identify as Russians, probably wants to exchange for those places like Crimea, and I think some other name, I can't remember the other name, Donbass or something like that. If that's the case, probably that could be a solution. I don't know. I don't trust Putin at all. I don't trust anything that he says. I think he only makes excuses. I don't think he's really, just like Hamas, I don't believe that he's looking for any sort of peace deal. He's just playing for time. He actually wants to annex the entire country of Ukraine because he wants to rebuild the USSR empire. But maybe, just maybe, he's trying to play along for now, and therefore some sort of peace deal can take place for now. I don't believe it will be long lasting. But nevertheless, we are in the end times anyhow you take it, people. And therefore it's just about just a matter of time before Russia, whether it's Putin going to be the leader or not, Russia decides that they are ready to invade Israel, and that is when the Ezekiel prophecy shall take place and shall come to pass. And when the kings of the north, which is Russia, along with Iran and Turkey and other nations, unite and attempt to invade Israel, they're going to be utterly destroyed by the Lord God Almighty, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the great I am.
What Putin suggested is this: I grabbed some of your lands, I'm ready to withdraw from tiny bits of your lands, but you will promise that you will never try to reclaim the vast lands that I will keep under my control, and you will recognize them legally. So, you know, even in a nightmare, you don't have to be a lawyer to understand that this deal has nothing to do with land swap. It's going to die. There is nothing to swap because all of this territory is Ukrainian. The only viable solution for the land issue, which indeed is the biggest obstacle in negotiations, is to leave this matter in the gray zone where both sides will claim their title of ownership on this land. If President Putin does not make that concession, these talks are not going to go anywhere. By the way, you can hear the air raid siren behind my back.
I can. I know that sound, obviously, from when I was there. But, you know, it appears that preparing for this summit, there have been fewer of the relentless Russian attacks on Kyiv in the last week. Is that right?
Indeed, we continue to have regular air raid sirens, mostly because of the risk of a ballistic attack. But missiles land outside of Kyiv. They target other cities, not Kyiv. And you can clearly see it as a part of Putin's preparation for summit. While he's not limiting his forces in attacking Ukraine as a country and different targets across Ukraine, he knows how sensitive President Trump is to attacks on the capital, and therefore he refrains from doing so. At least he has been avoiding that so far.
Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. Please like, comment, share. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.